that he was recognized by Ethiopian Christians. Several say by a Syrian monk. Many claim by Yathrib Jews. One suggests that it was a local Hanif, while others maintain it was a sorcerer. Some even suggest that it was the belly of a dead animal. So what we have here is nothing more than 15 equally fictitious versions of an event that never took place. End of quote. The Muslim sages who can't remember what their prophet told them in Mecca are telling us that they can recreate a conversation between opposition parties in Syria. Let's listen in, and while we're doing so, let's try to determine why the Hadith contains this dialogue in the first place.
The monk turned around and suddenly beheld 7 men advancing from the land of the Byzantines. He went up to them and said, "What brings you here?" They replied, "We have come because this prophet is appearing in this month. Men have been sent to every road, and we have been chosen as the best of men, and have been sent to your road."
There isn't a prophetic utterance in any Christian book about an Arab prophet. Yet we are led to believe that Christians not only knew exactly when, but precisely where they would find such an unspecified person. This is desperate to the point of being pathetic. If Muslims need to contrive such preposterous lies to make Muhammad appear prophetic, he most certainly wasn't. Yet they continue to lay planks on this flimsy foundation.
Tabari. Zayed bin Amr,
a Hanif poet whose words Muhammad based early Quranic revelations,
said, "I expect a prophet from the descendants of Ishmael, in particular from the descendants of Abd al-Muttalib."
In actuality, the first written confirmation of this precise prediction came 300 years after Muhammad's birth. By comparison, the last of the biblical messianic prophecies for which these Islamic predictions were contrived to compare were committed to writing 400 years prior to Christ's birth. And unlike all things Muslim, Christians have a paper trail. The Septuagint, the Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible compiled in Alexandria in 275 B.C., survives to this day. The post-dated Hadith of Zayed, a man who rejected both Islam and Muhammad, continues,
"I shall inform you of his description, so that he will not be hidden from you. He is neither short nor tall, whose hair is neither abundant nor sparse, whose eyes are always red, and who has the seal of prophethood between his shoulders. His name is Ahmad,"
a variant of Muhammad,
"and this town,"
Mecca,
"is his birthplace, and the place in which he will commence his mission. Then his people will drive him out and hate the message which he brings, and he will emigrate to Yathrib and triumph."
The Islamic sages who put these words in the Hadith's mouth 3 centuries after his death want you to know that every faith, Judeo-Christian to Satanic, agrees.
"I have traveled around in search of the faith of Abraham."
The only pre-Islamic mention of Abraham is in the Bible. Apart from the Torah, nothing is known about him, not even his name. And the Torah is clear. Abraham didn't have a religion. He had a relationship.
"Every person whom I'm asked, whether Christian or Magian, says, 'This faith lies where you have come from,' and they describe him as I have described him to you. They say that no prophet remains but he," Amr said. "When I became a Muslim, I told the messenger what Zayed had said. I gave him his greetings. He said, 'I saw him in paradise, dressed in flowing robes.'"
Although Zayed composed most of the Quran's first score of surahs, he rejected Muhammad's credentials, and thus Islam. By his own admission, he can't be in the Islamic paradise. These endorsements are so preposterous, it begs the question, what must educated Muslims think when they read such nonsense? You don't have to be a religious scholar to know that the Jewish Messiah can't be an Arab, or that Christians believe that the Messiah is the final prophet. So when this obvious deception was brought before Islam's lone messenger for certification, and he endorsed the lie, what must they think? Do they think? Why would one trust a man who must lie, or be lied for, to validate his calling?
Ishaq. Jewish rabbis, Christian monks, and Arab soothsayers had spoken about the apostle of Allah before his mission when his time drew near. The rabbis and monks found his description in their scriptures. The Arab occultists had been visited by Satans from the jinn with reports which they had secretly overheard before they were prevented from hearing by being pelted with stars. Ishak. The prophet explained the nature of shooting stars. Allah shuts off the Satans by the stars which pelted them. So Satans tried to steal information, listening in, mingling what they heard with conjecture and false intelligence. They conveyed it to the soothsayers.
Every word of this is incriminating.
Ishak. Umar bin al-Khattab,
The future caliph.
was sitting with others in the messenger's mosque when a Bedouin came up looking for him. Umar said, "This man was a soothsayer in the Jahiliyyah."
The Satan worshipper turned Allah advocate said,
During the Jahiliyyah,
pre-Islamic period of ignorance,
we used to do worse things than you. We used to worship idols and embrace graven images until Allah honored us with Islam.
you know you're dealing with a rotten religion when an occultist tells the champions of Islam.
We used to do worse things than you.
The suggestion is that Muhammad's behavior in Yathrib, pedophilia, incest, rape, piracy, terrorism, genocide, and the slave trade, was better than serving a demon.
O men, the soothsayer said, Allah has honored and chosen Muhammad, purified his heart and his bowels.
Then the future caliph, in Muhammad's presence, asked the former occultist what he learned from his demonic spirits.
Ishak. Tell me, said Umar, what is the most amazing saying which your familiar spirit,
That would be a satanic jinn or demon.
communicated to you? He came to me a month before Islam and said, Have you considered the jinn
Demons from Satan's tribe.
and the hopelessness and despair of their religion?
The occult, that would be witchcraft, tarot cards, black magic, astrology, seances, and so forth. The Islamic hierarchy was interested in what the satanic types had to say. Kindred spirits, I suppose.
Tabari. Then Umar said, By Allah, I was by one of the idols in the Jemiah. An Arab sacrificed a calf to it, and we were waiting for it to be divided up in order to receive a share. I heard coming from the belly of the calf a voice which was more penetrating than any I've heard. This was a year before Islam. The dead calf's belly said, There is no ilah but Allah.
The next hadith comes courtesy of a fine isnad of 4 Muhammads and a future caliph.
We were sitting by an idol a month before the messenger commenced his mission, having slaughtered camels. Suddenly we heard a voice calling from the belly of one, Listen to the wonder! There will be no more eavesdropping to overhear inspiration. We throw down shooting stars for a prophet in Mecca. His name is Ahmad. His place of emigration is Yathrib. We held back and marveled. Then the messenger began his mission.
The moral of the story is, the next time those pesky Christians or Jews say that Muhammad wasn't a prophet because there were no prophecies pointing to his mission, you can tell them that just isn't so. A dead camel and a cow told you he was Allah's boy. How about one more, just to be fair?
A man came to the prophet and said, Show me the seal which is between your shoulders, and if you lie under any enchantment,
A demonic curse or spell.
I will cure you, for I am the best enchanter
A witch practicing black magic.
of the Arabs. Do you wish me to show you a sign? Asked the prophet. Yes. Summon that cluster. So the prophet looked at a cluster of dates hanging from a palm tree, and summoned it, and began to snap his fingers until it stood before him. Then the man said, Tell it to go back. And it went back. The enchanter said, I have never seen a greater magician than I have seen today.
Takes one to know one. Moving from the ridiculous to the sublime, the religion based upon pagan practices has a chapter called
The messenger is protected by Allah from participating in pagan practices.
The first hadith is from Ali, the Prophet's adopted son, and his son-in-law, the patriarch of the Shiites, and one of many assassinated caliphs. He said,
I have heard the messenger saying, I was only tempted to take part in heathen practices on 2 occasions, and both times Allah prevented me from